Happy Thanksgiving. On today's starting nine, Jake and Carl celebrate our beloved American holiday with warm and cheerful off-season banter as we head into some rare downtime on the baseball calendar. Lucky enough, there's plenty to keep us busy, from John Lackey's Hall of Fame candidacy to chain-smoking heaters in a minor league dugout to even considering the likelihood that one of us could successfully hike across the Continental 48 with nothing but a baseball glove and your traditional spread of entry-level survival tools. Happy Turkey Day from our family to yours. This is the official Starting Nine Thanksgiving episode. Action! Welcome back to Starting Nine. Carl here in Chicago. A little bit of a construction zone. Might hear some hammers, some nails. Jake, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, man. Got some friends in town. We got a bunch of food that's going on the green egg, making some brisket chili. We got to pick up a bunch of pies this morning because we don't make the pies. We do all the other stuff, but we'll leave the pies to the professionals. It's a lot of work to do everything. So kind of, everybody has their, what they're supposed to bring, side dishes or the turkey or whatever. We're bringing pies, and I'm excited making brisket chili, kind of for the first time in the new house.
So chili's chili, pal. Chili is chili.
I disagree.
Turkey chili, bean chili. The process of making a great chili, really the focus should be on the brisket.
Yes, but a lot of people don't do brisket chili. They do like ground beef chili or bison chili, which is great. And I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't mind beans in the chili. I think it's fine. You just have to have a lot of like meat to bean ratio. It's got to be like 4-1.
Isn't that a Texas chili thing when they don't have beans in it? I was surprised you even brought up beans. A lot of people outside of Texas think you sound like I didn't want to say something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sound a little crazy right now.
I guess it's a Texas thing to do no beans, but I grew up having beans in my chili. Mom did it all the time, and that's just the way I do it. I think it's fine. I don't know why people dislike beans.
Because they're legumes.
It is a legume. But if you have enough meat in there, it doesn't matter. It's kind of a texture thing, and when you kind of smash the beans, it'll thicken the chili up a little bit, which I think is an appropriate, consistency, thickness for the chili. But beans or no beans, as long as it's seasoned properly, you got enough meat in there, you can do chili any way you want.
Beans really are fascinating. If you hold a bean by itself, like a dried up bean, the amount of moisture a single bean can take on. It's I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here. Like I said, this is the Thanksgiving episode. Happy Thanksgiving. Thankful for so many things. Thankful for a great baseball season. Also thankful for Game Time, the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. You guys have heard us talk about Game Time forever. Don't think we're not going to talk about it on the Thanksgiving episode. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, whatever the holiday. Treat yourself with Game Time, like I said, the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. If you haven't given them a shot yet, I don't know what you guys are waiting for. We've had tons of Barstool fans using it, hitting us up on social. I'm using Game Time tonight to give tickets to my local bartender to go see AEW wrestling. I will not be in attendance. My local bartender, Mike, and his buddy Will, he's a huge wrestling fan. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to give this guy something for Christmas because it's like awkward. I'm not giving my bartender something for Christmas. I don't give anybody presents for Thanksgiving. I'm going to change that. I'm thankful for Mike. He's always good to me. This is a weird fucking thing, but I'm being honest. I have a good relationship with my local bartender, Mike. I will not say the bar. I will. It's 4 Moon Tavern. If you want to be like Mike, you go to AEW, Game Time, cheap tickets. I'm slinging them. Download the Game Time app. Go to the account tab to create a login. Redeem code STARTING9 for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Download Game Time. Last minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed. It's our only ad read today.
Man, I think you're the first person I've ever heard refer to somebody as their local bartender.
Yeah, like you got
maybe it's a Chicago thing, I guess.
I mean,
I don't know. Or yeah, if you frequent the same bar, well, we go to a place here in the neighborhood a lot, but I don't refer to Chip as my local bartender, but he is, and he's a great man.
Is he? What's he like? Tell me about Chip for a second.
He's rough around the edges, as you would imagine. I mean, he's the bartender, but he also owns the bar. He's got the smoker's voice. He's got the leathery skin. He's got great stories. A couple friends and myself will go up there occasionally. They usually close around 10:30, 11 o'clock. We'll typically stay till 12, 12:30. He loves just serving shots of Jameson. And we're like, dude, and we don't live far, but we gotta get home somehow. So easy on the heavy porch, Chip. But shout out to Chip, good man.
Happy Thanksgiving, Chip.
I'm gonna start calling him my local bartender because of you. So I appreciate that.
It's a nice touch. Like I said, I got Paulina Market. I got my butchers. Obviously, shout out Paul, Billy, Steve, the rest of the boys. You have your accountant. You have people you trust. There's people in your life you trust. And now I'm not putting them on the same professional realm. You didn't go to school. But to work at this bar, you have to be a patron for like 10 years. And then the guy who owns the bar will be like, hey, do you want to pick up a shift? I guess it's like a big deal because all the bartenders live in the neighborhood. So a chance to be working there. So Mike's been hanging out, boozing, serving drinks there for a long time. So it's interesting because you're like, yeah, I guess over years now you go in there. And now you sit down. He's like, what a little shot of Cabanas, tequila. He reads the room. And it's not just local bartenders here. We'll just Thanksgiving, we'll give an opportunity, give a shout out. I feel like there's a lot of those jobs and ancillary relationships that blossom as you get older just because it's like, that's the coffee guy at Starbucks, which is not a local anything relationship. I walk in there every single day. It's like, what's up, Carl?
Yeah, we see him every day. You see him, 4 or 5 days a week. So you do develop that relationship. And it's I'm glad you bring that up because Brittany's grandmother, she passed away 6 or so years ago, but she would always go, well, thank you. She lived a long, great life. She would go to Saltgrass 3-4 times a week. She loved going to Saltgrass. And she started this friendly relationship with her server. And, I don't know, I guess old people think that they become best friends with these people. And she started and she was well off. She had some money. And this person, I believe, was in their early 20s. And she started paying rent for this person and doing really nice things for him. And we're like, Nancy, don't you think I didn't have the heart to tell her, maybe don't you think you're being taken advantage of? Never brought it up. Just I'm glad you made a friend, whatever. But I think that probably happens a lot, and more to, I guess, elderly or older people. It was an uncomfortable conversation.
Is companionship? Is it companionship?
Maybe so. I mean, her and her husband would go in there and, they'd enjoy dinner and good conversation, I guess. And the conversation probably led to what this server was doing in school and struggling with this and that. I don't know. We didn't get deep into it. We just knew that Nancy was financially taking care of the server. Nice thing to do. I don't know. But she was, being taken advantage of. But she was willing to do nice things for this person. So doesn't matter now. But
well, I guess if you don't mind me getting too personal, this guy show up to the funeral?
I don't believe so. I don't even know if he was informed of the funeral. But
have you ever taken gifts or accepted gifts from an older person, guy or woman? Have you been offered stuff? Hey, Jake.
Yeah, for sexual favors.
Ladies.
No.
I went through an older lady phase. Not that old. I'm not. No offense to Nancy or. Just
well, you want to see what it's like. You want to test the waters. No, I mean I've been married for a long, long time. 14 years yesterday. Our 14 year anniversary was yesterday.
After the point.
Well, listen,
I should have known about that. I should have definitely known about that. I would have thrown a little something in the mail. Come on.
Well, the reason you didn't is because we were out in Fredericksburg for the last couple of days, little to no service, putting the kids to work on the demolition of our hunting cabin. We're starting the process, and as we talked about, chipping away the old floors, exposing the foundation, taking walls down to the studs. We took a couple loads to the landfill, which landfills, I have a weird relationship with landfills. It's a necessary part of our society, but it's kind of disgusting the amount of waste that we have. I mean, I'm glad we have landfills because we need a place to put our shit. But have you ever been to one?
I haven't been to a landfill, but I do try to keep I would say like a conscious level of awareness of how much waste there is.
Yeah, it's hard to. It's hard
Well,
to, but it's just truck after truck with trailers just waiting to just get rid of garbage. And you pull onto the scale, they weigh your vehicle with whatever you're dumping. You go throw everything into the pit, you pull back on the scale, and that's how they decide, how much they charge you. And I guess you could technically go as many times as you want. You just pay. I mean, the first load was $41 and the second one was $54. And
cash
it was
or
all
card?
no card. So it's either cash or check.
It's not a bad business. Cash business, landfill business.
Not a bad business. Not a
Real
bad
estate
business.
doesn't depreciate. I
Yeah.
feel like customer service is basically non-existent. I'm not in the landfill business, but I would just imagine this seems like a cash cow.
And if you're listening to the show, I'm curious. We could look it up. I'm curious if anybody out there knows. I would assume that and there's just dozers going nonstop, just pushing garbage into the hole, and I guess they just cover it up and they compact it, and then they start over. And I think everything will turn to oil like in 100 years or 200 years. So it just kind of
Somebody else's problem.
Yeah, somebody else's problem. It's just kind of sad, but we make so much shit. What are you gonna do? We took everything out of the house, all the old furniture, literally everything that was in there, dumped in the landfill. It makes you feel good to get rid of stuff, though. It really does.
Are you? We've been over this. I will address your pack rat situation in a second. I just quickly on landfills. I would just like to commend the people behind landfill strategy because I'm not thinking about landfills until you tell me you went to a landfill. And that could be a problem. Like if garbage wasn't as organized or our garbage collection, like it's not a fucking issue for me. I just live my life.
Yeah, you don't
free
think
from
about
the
it.
constraints of garbage, the smell of garbage. Like I said, that could be a completely different situation. Like humankind, like one wrong turn, and we could be like, well, fucking garbage is just part of life. That's not the case. We'll cross that bridge. Like I said, I won't be here for the day all this comes a problem. Baseball will be here though. Do you think baseball will outlive our existing fossil fuel strategy?
That's a fucking weird question. But yeah.
You know what? It's a Thanksgiving dinner table here.
We'll find
Uncle
ways.
Charlie's had a couple pops. Entertain him for a
Will
second.
baseball outlive? So, like, you mean will we still have sustainable energy? Will baseball be around if or when like sustainable energy runs out?
Let me phrase it this way.
Yeah. I'm not smart enough to understand your question, I guess.
By the time technology has phased out fossil fuels, do you think as a culture baseball will still be important? Do you think we'll be like that sport doesn't matter anymore because our technology has proved? Because like hasn't the relationship with baseball changed the more technology and understanding people get from it? So now they're like, well, actually, dude, if you just do this, the lineup. Where like 40 years ago, people were like, well, fucking thank God our pitching coach smoked a cigarette in between the 7th and the 8th inning. Like that's how much it's changed.
Andy Etchebarren was the first manager I was ever around. Short season, Aberdeen, Baltimore, and my very first game. And Matt Wieters and I were drafted the same year. He was the first pick, or Baltimore's first pick. We signed late. We go to Aberdeen just to travel with the team. Like work out with them and shit. So we get there and we go out for the game, and Andy Etchebarren is just chain smoking heaters in the dugout. And I was blown away by that. I didn't, that was stuff you saw in movies and shit. I didn't think it existed, but sure enough, he's in there just puffing heaters right next to the boys. I absolutely loved it. I thought like the entire minor league system was going to be like that. This is just what managers are like. But it wasn't. But I'm very glad that I had that experience with Andy Etchebarren. My first experience with pro ball, so that was amazing. But I'll say that no, I think baseball will still be around. I think eventually we're going to use solar and hydrogen as our primary means of energy. Because look, Elon is the smartest guy on the planet, or one of them. He says we could solar power everything on the planet like 10 times over. So we should probably lean more towards that. But financially, there's all these motivations to use other shit right now, oil and whatever. But I think I think solar is the way of the future for sure.
Sun's fucking hot, man.
Dude, and it's
big.
free.
It's like every day you just go out, sun's up there, it's fucking
there.
cooking, man.
And it's free.
Harness that power. It would be nice as humanity to come back full circle where it's like we're back to the sun god, power us, the sun. Isn't that what they used to do? The sun god, is that one Mel Gibson movie where the guy like escapes?
The sun and the stars were the gods.
Apocalypto.
Well, and think about if you had nothing at night but to look up and monitor and observe the stars and the planets every single night. That was that's all they did. That's all they did. They didn't have, they had fire. They didn't have any other forms of light. So they viewed the sun and the stars as gods.
Probably got a lot of good look at the stars in minor league towns.
Yeah, in the middle
like
of
driving
nowhere.
through. Yeah, like the bus pulls over so everybody can go take a piss. You get off the bus, you look out, and it's fucking sky's all lit up and just stars.
Yeah, you pull over at 3 a.m., a couple hours into your Ambien, and you get off the bus and you grab, a pint of Ben & Jerry's. There's a couple guys smoking heaters. You get beef jerky, a couple Slim Jims. I know you love Slim Jims. Maybe in something crunchy. It's a texture thing. You need sweet, salty, and something crunchy. So it's always like a bag of chips, a pint of ice cream, and some beef jerky.
I was gonna say kettle cooked. Kettle cooked or a ridge?
There's a soft spot in my heart for the OG Lays. Soft spot for those, but like the baked variety is really good too. I like the favorite chip, dude. Sun chips are really fucking good. I like salt and vinegar though. Salt and vinegar is amazing. Salt and vinegar.
Salt and vinegar, but my number one's Voodoo, New Orleans.
Yeah, those
New
are
Orleans
good.
from Zapp's, but now we're gonna get into this is a big thing of mine. A lot of people that know me for a long time know how passionate I get about potato chips, Zapp's in particular. You'd be a baked lay guy. It's funny you bring those up. You see fucking 20% off, or you see the tan bag, you're like, "Ooh, that looks organic."
20% off? You mean like 20% like less fat? No, that's all garbage. If I'm eating chips, I'm not worried about the caloric or how many calories or how much fat's in it. If I'm eating healthy, I'm eating healthy. But if I'm not, I don't even care. I don't even care. I'm rarely in the middle. It's either like this week is just going to be, endless eating, overeating. And then next week or the week after that, I'll tighten it up, start kind of getting back on track. Cause I just got a suit tailored for a party December 3rd. And I'm a little worried I'm not going to fit into it when I go pick it up. But I'll cross that bridge, in a few days.
I mean, your standards of
serious.
fit have to be so extreme if you're gonna get fit for something, show up 2 weeks later.
Well,
I know.
But here's the deal. I ordered this. It's a sequence suit that I ordered because it's a theme party. It's like 80s, 70s, 80s disco type situation. And when it got here, like the waist was already like super tight, but the pants were baggy. So you got to take them in. They need to fit a little bit better. Kind of around the quads and the calves. And at the bottom, you don't want them to be wavy like the old early 90s suits. And he's like, we need to fix the waist. I'm like, dude, I could barely button these, so don't touch the waist at all. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I hope I can.
Yeah,
fit.
you gotta everything. Nothing off the rack with you. All custom, all handmade.
Not all handmade.
Fucking tape measure
Dude,
out.
this was made. It came in a bag. I think it's made in China or made in Japan or something like that. Not handmade by any means.
I'm over clothes. Clothes just in general, like looking good, and it's a nice shirt and that fits. And It's just a lot. And I went through a couple experiences in a row where it was like, all right, I'm down in Miami for a bachelor party. Now we're in Dallas, Skybox for the game, going out with other people. People where I would not be hanging out with normally. I'm not thinking about the clothes I have to wear until it's like an hour before I'm supposed to go out and socialize with these people. I'm like, what do I fucking wear to hang out with these guys? 2 weddings. Come on. One, I had to sneak into a tuxedo. Again, I'm just out on clothes. At the same time, though, tremendous respect for guys that look good in clothes, people who know how to buy clothes, and I think the highest level of that are online shoppers. Dudes that can shop online effectively, was like without returns, without maximum returns, you get the shirt, you're like, that's exactly what I thought the shirt would look like. I'm hitting, what was Lester when he got to the Cubs? Like 0 for his first 73. That's what I'm like shopping online. I'm 0 for I'm so bad that when I do hit on it, my wife's gonna throw me a fucking party. It'll be the #1 highlight on Marquee Network. Fucking Barstool Carl goes and gets an XL hoodie on Amazon that actually fits his misshapen hips.
Dude, I can't shop online. I gotta try shit on. I don't know. I mean, I bought this thing online just hoping that it was gonna fit. So I ordered 2 different sizes. Got 2 different sizes. It was I think it was $150 for each one, and it's a suit. I'm trying to find the picture so I can show you what it looks like.
All right, look it up
because I knew one of them. I knew one of them wasn't gonna fit. And the actual, I got an XL and a double X. The XL pants fit better than the double X. I just think that they randomly threw them in a bag, and is what it is. But it was the wrong size. Oh well. We'll make it work.
Yeah. Do you ever between you and me, I won't tell anyone, we'll edit this out of the podcast, but do you have any inside jokes with Brittany where you're like, baby, I'm not doing that. I'm a big leaguer. I would fucking say that all the time to my close friends. Be like, hey, fucking Carl. Yo, could you set up the tea time? Be like, yo, dude, I'm not doing that. I'm a big leaguer. Now, I know that you don't do that shit at all, but man, I would have.
You know me. You know me better than that. No,
it's kind of I know. I just wanted to bring it up and ask you so I could say that I would do that. I'm not disappointed that you don't do stuff like that, but there is a side of me where I'm like, man, it'd be cool if every now and then you just want the Vinny Pasquantino interview. I was thinking afterwards, like, man, that would have been a fucking hilarious bit if you were like, all right, rookie, whatever. If you were just like, or if afterwards you were like, Carl, man, stop bringing me rookies. Like, that would be a funny bit if you wanted to fuck with that guy. But nice kid, too. Go back, listen to the interview.
I like him.
Future baseball. 12 years younger than me.
Yeah, no, I'm not that veteran guy that acts like that, personally. You know that, though. And I don't like when guys do that. It's kind of cringy for me when, they pull that shit. Like, this is the show, or you don't do that in the show, or I don't expect things from people like that. Because now look at me. I'm fucking retired nobody doing a fucking podcast with you. So no one gives a fuck.
Like a kid asking Matt Latos for a ball at spring training. He's like, hey, come on, kid. What are you talking about, man? I'm going home. There's guys like that. I'm not calling anybody
There are guys like that. And the world needs those guys. So guys like me can call them douchebags.
Yeah, so then guys like me can sit around and tell the stories about, did you hear about that one guy? That's deep in it. Hall of Fame ballot. Did you talk to Lackey? He's on the Hall of Fame ballot this year.
Yeah, we have a group text going around, and everybody's just congratulating him, and whether he gets in or not, just being on the ballot is pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to qualify to be on the ballot.
Just to be on, and there's the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There's 14 guys, and I don't know who from this list gets in. I don't know the numbers well enough. I might say, Beltran, maybe. Francisco Rodriguez. I think Houston Street has a.
How about this? I'll
chance.
rattle off the notable ones right now. I'll rattle off the notable ones real quick. So the ones, and these are guys that have a chance or will get votes. There's names on the list that qualify for it. I'm not disrespecting JJ Hardy, but it's not for. Here's the big names: Bobby Abreu, Carlos Beltran. I'm gonna throw Mark Burley on there, Torrey Hunter, Andrew Jones, Jeff Kent, John Lackey, Pettit, Manny Ramirez, A-Rod, K-Rod, Scott Rowland, who I think slam dunk, Jimmy Rollins, Gary Sheffield, Omar Vizquel still fucking on the ballot.
Visquel? Did you pull a Visquel on me?
I think I just Vizquelled you, and that is our transition into our first Thanksgiving segment, the Cleveland Indians. No, I do want to talk 90s Indians, though. But Omar Vizquel's on the ballot. Billy Wagner, who actually used to be right-handed, if you didn't know that.
Don't say Visquel again.
He's on it.
Visquel.
Is that what I said?
You said Visquel.
I'm not Puerto Rican, bro. I don't have the fucking teal days.
No, I can't roll my R's, so I don't even know if I'm.
Say it
people
one
would
more time.
consider
Viz
me.
what?
It's Omar Vizquel.
Vizquel.
I mean, I could be wrong.
All right. I sold out on the QUE. I went Quell. Is it Kel?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Oh, so I was looking at the first year on the ballot. I had this pulled up in front of me. I don't know the other guys that have already been on the ballot, but
Oh,
You know,
just have, who are the first year guys? I'm sorry.
all right. So Bronson Arroyo, Carlos Beltran, Matt Cain, R.A. Dickey, Jacoby Ellsbury, Andre Ethier, J.J. Hardy, John Lackey, Mike Napoli, Johnny Peralta, Francisco Rodriguez, Houston Street, Jared Weaver, and Jason Worth. And I don't know who from that gets in. I was looking at Matt Cain's stats. He's 104 and 118 with a 3.68 career ERA, and just going off of that, I think it's definitely a no.
I mean, it's so hard to get in the Hall of Fame.
So hard.
It
But
is.
you're on the ballot. Like, come on, how many guys? This is a question for you. Do you know the criteria to get on the ballot? Because me and Brittany were talking about this, and she's like, not everyone gets on the ballot, do they? I said, no, I don't believe so. I think you have to have at least compiled a significant number of years and stats to be on the ballot. It's not like if you get a year in the big leagues, you get on the ballot.
I think it's probably like qualifying for the Masters where they've got like a bunch of different ways. Like if you play 15 years, maybe that sounds like something like, hey, if I got 15 years, like I'm going on the ballot. I think if you win a major award, like R.A. Dickey didn't play 15 years, but R.A. Dickey won a Cy Young. So like you definitely got to go on the ballot if you win a major award.
Yeah, I mean, with Lackey, he's a 3-time world champ. He played for 16 seasons. He pitched some incredible games. He closed Game 7 of the World Series his rookie year. He pitched Game 7. I want to say he pitched Game 7 for the Red Sox. Just a big game pitcher all the way around. Some huge moments in his career. Had the best year statistically of his career. I want to say in 2015 with the Cardinals. So I mean the longevity is obviously there, 16 or 17 seasons. But yeah, I don't know. I would like an answer on how guys are picked for the ballot.
Little lag.
Sorry. Fuck.
You're okay. You said longevity's there.
Longevity's there. I'd like to know how guys are selected for the ballot. I'm sure we can figure that out.
Oh, dude, the list is right there. It's probably a stain on me. There's people going, fucking Carl doesn't know the Baseball Writers Association evolving criteria for ballot selection. No, I don't off the top of my head. I will say when you talk about Hall of Fame criteria, like what makes a Hall of Famer not a Hall of Famer, like Lackey has the, like the presence. He's got tremendous October moments. Finished third for Cy Young, and that was like halfway in between winning a World Series as a rookie and then winning it again with the Red Sox. I think the injury, the 2011, where he's obviously pitching hurt or not at 100% at all because it's just like a crazy anomalous season. And then sitting out 2012. Like if he doesn't have that like major dip 32, 33 seasons, then he's over 200 wins, He's probably around 45 wins above replacement. Like, he's a guy who would be hanging around like veteran committees, depending on. My understanding, he's got a great legacy too. Now, I'm talking about one of your friends. I'm sorry, but I'm talking about him in the context objectively as like a Hall of Fame candidacy. You very much like all-star appearances are a big deal with position players. It's much harder to do with pitchers because it's fucking impossible to be an all-star as a pitcher. Because like there's so many relievers, or reliever could come from nowhere. There's always like 5 or 6 relievers every year where it's like, oh, you're having an all-star season, but to be an all-star starter is completely different. We've talked about this before. Like, yeah, you probably could have been nominated in 14, probably should have definitely gone in 15. Like, you, of that whole stretch, it's like, yeah, you went to one all-star game. In my head, it's like, yeah, you probably went to 3 or 4. It's hard as a starting pitcher is my point.
Yeah.
So John,
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was, what's cool is that, he was 4th in Rookie of the Year. So, and then he goes, several years and he's an all-star in 07. Cy Young votes, 3rd in Cy Young, 17th in MVP. And then, go all the way to 2015 where he had Cy Young votes. He was top 10 Cy Young. So the longevity, the consistencies there.
I know what's happening. Baseball Reference is slowing you down. Sorry, 2801.
Is it? Fucking
Yeah, that's it takes a lot of bandwidth from or it takes like a lot of computing power.
All right, I'm closing that. Fuck off. I'll just wing it.
The MLB.com website is pretty quick, although it's not as easy to read.
No, it's really not. They need to fix that for us. But you agree with me though on like the consistency, the longevity, and you're not going to see many guys pitch for 15 plus years anymore. I don't think.
I think if John Lackey's career started today, he'd have a much stronger case. And he had this exact career. I think he'd have a much stronger case for like Hall of Fame because it's such a valuable thing that he does, or he did. Just that bulldog there every day, 200 innings, and then winning 200 games and just being, like you said, 2 decades of fucking pitching at the top for rotation. It's a weird era for him to be in. I'm interested in this. If you just asked him, you just say, hey, John, straight up, you going to the Hall of Fame? Would he laugh at you? Would he be like, shut up? Would he even dignify that question with a response? Does he talk about stuff like that?
I think when it comes to him personally, I think that he would probably say that he doesn't get in. I mean, does he want to get in? Fuck yeah, of course. I want him to get in. But I think that he would say he might not get in. Just being completely honest, I think that's the answer that he would give us. Does he want to get in? Yeah, of course. Everyone wants to get in. But I know that he's proud of what he's done, and just to be mentioned on the ballot, like you gotta be pretty fucking happy with that. Just like it means you did something really special for a long time, and just to be acknowledged for what you've done, whether you get in or not, it's cool to have your name on the ballot.
A former teammate with very similar numbers is John Lester. If you had to pick one or between the other to go to Cooperstown, who would you pick?
Gosh, well, I got to look at the numbers, see if I get slowed down or not.
Lester has him in like legacy stuff. He's got 5 All-Star selections, and his brand generally with baseball writers would be like, well, it's John Lester. I mean,
yeah, well, if you ask
Lackey, fucking gunshot wound to the head, take it to John Lester. He can save anything.
Well, if you asked, and I've talked to, the Baseball Reference is totally slowing it down. But if you ask Lackey about Lester, he would say he's absolutely getting in and that he should be in. And I agree with that. I haven't looked at his numbers very closely, but most players, most former teammates or opponents that played with or against Lester would absolutely say that he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
They matured so much in their career together. They had great seasons in Boston. Lester in his late 20s, Lackey in his early 30s, which I've picked up from talking to you about your career. Like, there's definitely a point I see in players' careers where they get comfortable. Played golf with Daniel Hudson was talking to me about that. He's like in his late 30s. I'm like, how are you doing? Like, how's the Dodgers? How's life in the big leagues or something? And he was like, you know what, dude? I'm honestly like, I'm just like really comfortable with the fact that I can go out on a road trip and play golf and I'm in the big leagues and kind of do my own thing. Like I just started feeling this way. He's like 37, 38 years old. My point is like, I think it takes time or tell me if I'm right or wrong. Like it takes time for you to then like be settled so then you can go build these relationships or whatever. And I think it's cool that like Lester and Lackey were right around that time where they'd been in the league, had been through a ton of experiences together. They had like tremendous success and tremendous like letdown in Boston, and then to partner together again in the rotation in Chicago. Those are cool fucking teammates. Do you have one pitcher in your relationship? We're sitting here just fucking reminiscing. Where you're like, I spent a couple of years with that guy other than Lackey. Where you're like, maybe if you guys weren't even friends, where you're like, I measured myself, or is there somebody you watched you learned a lot from just watching, being like, I want to be better than that guy? Or
I wouldn't say that I wanted to be better than that guy. I think you want to kind of emulate certain people. I mean, Lester's definitely one of those guys. When you played against him, and you know, like he's kind of on this pedestal, and rightfully so. He did what he. I mean, he was durable, and he was making 30+ starts every single year, and he was pitching in big games and having incredible success in those big games. You're like, fuck, I want to do that. I want to make those pitches, those big pitches in the biggest moments of the game. And he was doing it consistently. I mean, so I'm checking it out now. So 2008, 33 starts, and this is 2008 on, 33 starts, 32, 32, 31, 33, 33, 32, 32, 32, 32. I mean, dude, it's 30+ starts for 12, 13 years straight. And talk about, being durable and reliable. There's, if you look it up, he's one of the names that's on that list as far as being a workhorse, making big pitches in the biggest moments of the biggest games for your team. And a lot of the guys that I talk to, like if there's a big game that your team needs to win, dude, most guys are picking John Lester to pitch that game, and it makes perfect sense. I mean, he had an unbelievable career, and you watch. I remember watching, highlights of Lester like throw that backdoor cutter to righties, and it's like you can't hit it, and he would just fucking dot that down and away corner just over and over and over, and then the front hip cutter to lefties, and just in the biggest spots too, full count or bases loaded, best hitter at the plate, and no panic, calm, executing pitches, crowd going wild. And 16+ years of doing that, he got to 200 wins, which is a mark that you won't see many guys get to anymore. Hopefully, how far is Verlander from 300? Like 40 wins, 50 wins. I think it's
sizable. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that he's 75 wins away.
No. He is 225.
He's 56.
Okay, he'll get there.
Yeah, he's gonna get to 300 if he's gonna get a 3-year deal, and he gets 3 years and $120 million. Then he comes out, he goes 15, wins another 45. And he's sitting there and needs 10, 11 wins or something in that 4th year. They'll pump him from whatever secretariat. They'll give him the vial of secretariat's blood.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Verlander's numbers, it doesn't even make sense. And his best season, arguably his best season, was this year.
I would take him over to Grom with a bullet. With a fucking bullet. Now that's my bold take. Because,
I think it'd be a different story if DeGrom was pitching in a different uniform for the last 5 or 6 years.
Do you think he just doesn't like it? Do you think he's just like, fuck this place?
No, I think that he does like it, New York. But there's got to be a little bit of that in the back of his head, like, God, just imagine if, I had an offense that would get me some run support. Like it's an absurd number of starts that he's given up 1 run or fewer. It's like half or more than half of his career starts that he's given up 1 run or less. And the amount of wins he has does not reflect that. And yeah, maybe wins isn't a stat that many people look at anymore, but we, as starting pitchers, we do.
I like the wins.
It's a
Fucking
huge
gotta
stat
win.
as a starting pitcher. You know, maybe the analytics guys don't think it is, but they're not your numbers on on the back of our baseball card. Those are our numbers, and we take pride in that.
I would like a metric from a front office statistician, sabermetrician that like measured statistics based on how much the players care. Who's like, yeah, sure, we don't front office guys. There has to be some kind of like subjective component where it's like, all right, so here's the thing. Wins don't really matter, but these guys really like to win a lot. So like you'll see their performance. There has to be something in it because I agree with what you're saying. I used to make this argument a lot, and then I stopped making the argument because people are too stupid to understand this. But there's a value in a statistic if it matters to the fucking guy playing the game. Hey, tell a cleanup hitter the RBIs don't matter when he's getting in the box with a runner on third base and less than 2 outs, and the focus in his mind shifts. The ability to elevate, to compete in that moment, to get the job done. It rises in that occasion, but then people will be like, RBIs don't matter. Like, all right, well, that guy's fucking proud of himself for getting the run in, so tell him it doesn't matter.
I mean, wins don't matter until you don't have them. And then it's a big deal. Well, he only had 7 wins or 8 wins. But if you have 21 wins, it's like, well, it's not that important of a stat. So
I think it's the other way. I think if someone has only 7 wins, they're like, this guy sucks. It's like, well, turns out. And then if someone has, like, I remember Cliff Lee was like 22-3 or something. People were like, well, the fucking Indians, that's because his team's good. That's because Travis Hafner. That was the first time I couldn't understand. I believe that was 2006. Cliff Lee was awesome. I'm like, why is this guy not winning the Cy Young? He's got 20. Well, you learn. Now, again, I understand that like there's a best practice way in talking about statistics. I wholeheartedly do not. I get that. I understand that. I don't really care. I will still sit here and say I think wins can be important if the pitcher really fucking cares. Here's a statistic I used to talk about was starting pitchers' career win percentage if they made more than 300 career starts. Carlos Zambrano's, even though he played on some of the worst teams in Cubs history, had a remarkably high win percentage. Now, that's like, does he win a lot of games? Well, he doesn't lose a lot of games either. Now, in like a fucking 2 to 5 to 10 to 20 game sample, it's very hard to say. But give me 300 starts. You can like draw some conclusions about an individual's competitiveness based on their win-loss percentage over their entire career. I'm not saying you draw this guy's more competitive than this guy, but like it can give you an indication. Like I said, the Carlos Zambrano thing to me is extremely high win percentage on very bad teams. Like, was he really that dominant? Yeah, but he was also like every time he took the ball, he was like, I'm out here to fucking win. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, there's some truth to that, and it makes sense if you know anything about Carlos Zambrano, you just watch him pitch a couple times. I mean, you can tell this guy. No one likes to lose, but this guy hated to lose, more than most out there, and he wanted to rip your face off, and he'd be pretty good at it too. I mean, he's just. Have you ever stood next to him? No. Like I'm a big guy, and he's about it, and he's not heavy as in like overweight, but he's twice as wide as me, and he's about an inch or so taller than me. I mean, you would think, dude, this guy, he's playing tackle in the NFL. Like he fills up a doorway. It's absurd how big he is.
He was making a comeback in 2019. He had a cup of coffee with the Chicago hot dogs.
I mean, I bet he could still throw 92 right now with Sink.
Any independent teams like reach out to you like the Sioux Fall Voyagers or some shit?
Stop asking me this dumb shit. No.
Dude, that's not a joke because I was just bringing up Carlos Zambrano out of nowhere comes and plays for the Dogs for like 2 months. It's like, what the fuck are you doing here, man? Now, I didn't say are you going to. I'm just curious if like this, like I'd be interested if somebody would send you a care package. It's like, hey, dude, because they're gimmicky. They're independent. Well,
I told you there were a couple teams in Mexico, I believe, that like the GMs reached out and sent me like their roster and said, we'd love to have you on the team. We've got this guy, and that guy. And I'm like, man, I appreciate it, but I'm kind of locked in. I'm on another path. I like what I'm doing. I want to like groom my kids to, appreciate and to work a certain way in whatever they do. And it's hard to do that if you're not around them, for 6 or 7 months, for 4 or 5 days at a time per week. So no, I mean, if I didn't have kids right now, I might have played another year. But Cooper's 11, Palmer's going to be 9 on New Year's Eve. Now they need me more than the teams in Mexico need me to pitch. That's a fact.
I have a content idea for you, though.
Bring it.
All right. We've talked about being homeless before as a skill set, and how some homeless people or transient people, okay, like, well, I think some people are probably better at being homeless than others. And more of like an urban survivalistness. I don't want to get more into like wealth inequality type stuff here. It's just more about urban survival. Like, throw me into like, I can hang it. Now, we've talked about this before. You have. What about this thing where it's like, all right, Jake's going to be homeless, backpack, maybe a pair of spikes and a glove. We'll give you a couple supplies. You have to start in the northwest part of the United States and like make it to Florida with the condition that like every 3 games you have to appear for
every 3 days.
Like, you could play left field one day, like on a men's league team or semi-pro or independent ball.
I just got to
like
find a baseball field and get involved.
You have to play your way like an organized game through the country, and you have to be homeless. I don't know if we start you with like $100 or start you with $0, and then you have.
I wouldn't need money. I'd make it. I really do like this idea that I have to just kind of navigate my way to baseball fields along my path from, say, I start in Seattle and I got to make it to, I don't know, Pensacola or something. Don't make me go all the way like through Florida. If I get to Florida, that's good enough.
No, once Pensacola you enter Florida, Miami, you're in Florida.
Yeah, Pensacola to Miami, that's like another 8 hours of driving. Or more.
Yeah, no, you 10. Get no directions. We'll let you use your phone, but you have to delete all your navigation software.
Then what's the point of having a phone?
Well, I mean, you got to call, check in with Coop. How's that?
I can use the sun for direction. I wouldn't even need a phone. I mean, I would need some basic supplies. You give me a list of like 10 to 20 things, and I can pick 5 of them. I would make it. I need a comfortable pair of shoes. I need, maybe a poncho. Give me a blade. I need a blade.
Everyday carry.
Give me a lighter and a blade. Comfortable shoes, and I'll make it. Nice pair of denim, a pair of Doers.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Hey, whether you're climbing the ladder in corporate America or climbing a mountain on a weekend, performance denim is your best bet.
That's a fact.
I like the idea of you just like walking around town and being like, are there any baseball fields here? Just like you see big lights. You're like, oh, that's a baseball. You walk over to tennis courts. Try again, buddy.
Any racket or bat in ball sport, I'll play. I can do all of them. I can't play tennis like extremely well. I'm good enough. I can make it work.
Start Thanksgiving episode. I do have one note here on Thanksgiving. Big weekend for stuffing. I like stuffing. That's a good one.
Stuffing with gravy.
I stuffing chicks.
I enjoy stuffing. I like a little bit of cranberry sauce, just a little bit to give it that tanginess. Are you a brown gravy or like white gravy or both?
Gravy's a sensitive thing for me. My Aunt Nancy's recipe. A lot of people say gravy's not a side at Barstool Sports. It's still going. It's a 3-year-long debate.
I don't think it is a side.
Fuck you.
It accompanies a side. Like gravy goes with mashed potatoes or stuffing.
Just ask me if I like it light or dark. You got preferences over there. You got a
gravy
boat.
Is mayonnaise a side? It's more like a condiment.
I've seen some women eat a lot of mayonnaise in my days. Mm-hmm. Never mind. That's not going down that path. Not trying to make fun of anybody. Okay, Cleveland. I did want to ask this. Do you have it between these 3 Cleveland Indians? 90s. Kenny Lofton, Roberto Alomar, or Vizquel. Omar Vizquel. Don't say it the wrong way either.
I mean, there's a couple memories of all three of those. I think Kenny Lofton is. I'd probably go with Kenny Lofton. The speed and the ability in center field. But then, I mean, Omar Vizquel, I mean, it's short. I'm going Kenny Lofton. Because I've always had this affinity for speed. Because I've never been very fast. I've been quick and more of like a distance, like quick at long distance, but in a short burst, like straight line speed. Don't have it. And it's the same way I feel about like people that can jump really high. Like speed, the ability to run super fast and jump high has always been something that I love to watch. So, Kenny's like his slapping the ball around the infield and just beating shit out and tracking balls down in the gaps in center field. I got to go with Kenny.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Now, I don't think you can miss on either. I just do remember when there was one year when they went 1, 2, 3. Kenny Lofton 1, Bobby Alomar 2, Omar hit third. Then I believe they had like Tommy 4, Manny 5. But
That's a crazy 1 through 5.
It was a really big, like, I don't know, it was like a story around the Indians, but it was just like, man, they hit 3 leadoff hitters, 1, 2, 3. Like, these are 3 just guys that you can put at the top of your order. They're going to hit 300, get on base, steal bases, do a bunch of shit, and they just hit them 1, 2, 3. That was so sweet. Those teams were so sweet.
And did they...
No pitching, no starting pitching.
No, I mean, did they win a World Series?
Lost 97, walk-off. Edgar Renteria drove in Craig Counsell.
Tough.
Off of Nagy? I can't remember. This is a Thanksgiving episode.
So much food is going to get eaten today, dude.
Say that, Ram. I'm such I confess, I don't eat a lot of that. I ate like half the plate, and then I just...
Yeah, we graze. The food is out, it's ready, it's available. Like the gravy will stay warm kind of on the stove. Just kind of come and go. There's always at least 1 or 2 people napping on the couch. Usually elderly. A couple like stories that may or may not be inappropriate for young kids are told. There was an erectile dysfunction story being told by one of the elderly last year or the year before. And I believe Cooper was in the room, and he was kind of wondering what's going on. I just said, yeah, just go with it. It's fine. He's old.
Don't worry about it.
No.
Carl
like
shipping
spades.
him a box of swipes. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Playing spades. You got to have a good card game going on.
You spades?
I like spades. I like spades, like hearts, like pluck.
Spades only on these bus rides.
I play a lot of spades. We play casino. Did you ever play casino? Casino's a good card game. A lot of Latin. I was taught casino by some of the Latin players in A-ball and really loved it.
The Latin players are playing casino? What's that? Hold on a second. What do you mean? The Latin players, they got some like is it like a big complicated game where like
not really. So there's 4 cards on the board. And so say you have, I have ace, king, 2, 3. And on the board, let's say there's an ace, there's a king, and there's like 2 tens. The spades, the person that has the most spades gets a point. The most cards gets a point. The 10 of diamonds is worth 2 points. Every ace is worth a point. And what is it? I think the 2 of spades itself is also worth a point. So you're playing to 21. And so it's a fun game, man. Yeah, it's a good game. I mean, I didn't list all the rules. I'm a little slow right now, but look it up. Casino card. Well, if you type in casino card game, you're gonna get like fucking card games that are in casino. I don't know. You can find.
See, that's why I think it's tough. That's why you got to go to the source. Well, have a good Thanksgiving. It sounds like this will be the first one in the big house. I'm going up to my in-laws I got a great father-in-law, a great mother-in-law. They throw a great Thanksgiving, sit around, watch a Lions game. I'll walk in right away, be little scratch cards, cold ones on ice. They don't mess around. These north side of Chicago people do not mess around, so I'm very excited for that. And then otherwise, this is it's a good break here. Good break as we make our plans for next season, get into December. Could use a couple days here.
Yeah, we're going to monitor what's going on around baseball. I'm assuming most things will kind of be shut down for a day or so. Try and avoid drama. We have just a great group, a lot of kids, trying to keep them busy and just it's kind of whatever they want to do and instilling like the traditions that we like to partake in and embracing family and your loved ones and just spending quality time together because it's harder than ever now to get everyone together and to spend time like this like throughout the year. But now that I'm retired, I try and take advantage of it as much as I can. My kids are getting older, my friends' kids are getting older, and you don't get the time back. So embrace it and. I like to spend as much time as I can with my friends' kids because they're little now. They've got a 4-year-old and almost a 2-year-old, and those are some of the best years. They're tough because they're up at 5:30 in the morning. We're still sleeping in until 8, 9 o'clock. But as much as it seems like it sucks, embrace it. They're going to be out of the house before you know it, as my kids are. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Thanks for listening with us. And well, we'll be back in a few days.
Yeah, we'll be back in a few days. And I have an interview. I think we have an interview coming for Cubs fans. We don't do a lot of... if you're a Cubs fan, stick around. We got another rookie to talk some shit to, I think.
Yeah, we do.
Thankful for everybody tuning in. Subscribe to the show or don't. Shoot me a DM or don't. We're around. We'll be back next Tuesday. This is Starting 9. Thank you guys very much for tuning in.